All right, let's dive into a concept that, believe it or not, explains everything from your morning coffee to the entire planet. We're talking about thermodynamic systems. Now, I know that sounds a little intimidating, but trust me, once you get the main idea, you're going to start seeing it everywhere. It all kicks off with a really simple, everyday question. Picture this. You just made a big pot of soup. You turn off the stove, and what happens? Two things, right? It starts to get cold, and at the same time, you see all that steam rising off it. So why? Why does it do both of those things? Well, the answer is actually pretty elegant. It all boils down to how that pot of soup, what we're going to call our system, is interacting with everything else around it. And understanding that interaction, that exchange, well, that's the key to this whole thing. So to really get a handle on that interaction, we first have to be clear on our terms. What in the world do scientists even mean when they talk about a system? It's way simpler than it sounds. The system is just whatever little piece of the universe we decide to focus on. It could be our pot of soup, a car engine, you name it. And the surroundings? That's literally everything else. The whole game is about figuring out what can cross the boundary between them. To make this all crystal clear, we're going to stick with one hero for this entire explainer, a simple pot of boiling water. This pot is going to be our guide as we walk through the three main types of thermodynamic systems. And here's the best part. To figure out any system in the universe, we only need to ask two simple questions. That's it. Number one, can energy, like heat, get in or out? And number two, can matter, like the water itself, get in or out? Let's see how this works in practice. Okay, first up, we have the most common type of system you'll ever run into. Let's go back to our pot of water, but this time there's no lid on it. Time to ask our two questions. Can matter get out? Oh yeah, for sure. We can literally see it escaping as steam. Okay, can energy get out? Absolutely. You can feel the heat pouring off that pot. So the answer is yes to both. And that means we call this an open system. It's wide open, freely exchanging both matter and energy with its surroundings. Honestly, most things in our daily lives are open systems, from a campfire to us. Okay, so that's an open system. Pretty intuitive, right? But what happens if we make one tiny change? What if we decide to trap all that steam by putting a lid on the pot? Let's ask our questions again. Can matter get out? Nope. The lid stops the steam in its tracks. But what about energy? Can it still get out? Yep, the pot is still hot to the touch, which means heat is radiating right through its walls into the kitchen. And just like that, you've got a perfect example of a closed system. It's closed off to matter, so the amount of stuff inside stays the same, but it can still exchange energy. It can still cool down or heat up. So we've figured out how to trap the matter. The next logical question is, can we trap the energy too? And this brings us to our third and final type of system. So imagine taking our pot with the lid on and sticking it inside some kind of magical, perfect thermos. Okay, let's ask our questions one last time. Can matter get out? No, the lid's still on. Can energy get out? No, the perfect insulation stops all the heat from escaping. The answer to both of our questions is finally no. And that is what we call an isolated system. It's completely cut off from everything else. Nothing gets in, nothing gets out. It's like its own little self-contained bubble. But there is a catch. And it's a pretty big one. A truly perfectly isolated system is just a theoretical idea. In the real world, you can't actually achieve perfect isolation. It's impossible. It's a super useful concept for doing physics calculations, but you can't actually build one. Some energy will always eventually leak out. Okay, so we've got our three types: open, closed, and that theoretical perfect one, isolated. Let's pull this all together now and see how this simple idea helps us understand the real world. When you lay it all out in a chart like this, it just clicks, doesn't it? An open system is a yes for both matter and energy. A closed system is a no for matter, but still a yes for energy. And an isolated system, that's a no for both. It really is that simple. And that right there is the big secret. The only thing that separates these three concepts is what they're allowed to exchange across their boundary. That is the entire idea in a nutshell. And once you know this, you start seeing these systems absolutely everywhere. You Yes, you are an open system. You take in matter like food and air, and you release energy as heat. Planet Earth? It's basically a giant closed system. It gets tons of energy from the sun, but very little matter actually leaves or arrives. And that coffee thermos on your desk? That's our best attempt at making an isolated system. Which leaves us with one last kind of mind-blowing question. If building a perfect thermos is impossible, is anything in the entire universe truly isolated? I mean, think about the universe itself. If it contains literally everything, what could it possibly exchange energy or matter with? It's a huge question, and a pretty cool place to leave things for today.